talk Green Bay. So I've said this a few times. The Packers are the Lions last year. They're 1 year away. They're really, really close. Green Bay is excellent. Head coach, excellent. Quarterback, excellent. Skill people, excellent. Jordan Love he just needs more seasoning. When he came out of Utah State, he was a project. Well, he's not a project anymore, but he's not quite there. You saw in the first half, he only had 3 completions. The last 2 years, he started off, and he has to literally go into the Matt LaFleur School of quarterbacking. So he's only started 30 games. And to give you some idea of how few that is, Mac Jones has 45 starts. Okay? He's got like 50% more starts. So, I mean, Jaden Reed almost got no looks last night. So Jordan Love is really, really good. So is the coach. So is the running back. So are the skill people. Really good. But I feel like there's steps in everything. You really see it in the NBA. Giannis was good. Then he was great. Then he was dominant. There's a title. Then he gets older. Then he gets aging. Then he gets hurt. Like, there's steps to all this stuff. San Francisco's a great example. Last 5 years, they felt like Detroit. That's the best roster probably in the NFL. And then all of a sudden it gets expensive and brittle, and all of a sudden it falls. So right now, Green Bay is a stock, and it is just going up, up, up. And I think it's 1 year away. Maybe not. Maybe they shock the world. But Green Bay is 9-4. So they've lost to the Lions twice, the Eagles and the Vikings. They're 9-0 against everybody else. So they're losing to the right teams. And last night, I thought, I'll be honest with you, when they got the interception, so they start the second half of the ball, they get a touchdown, and they get an interception, and they get another touchdown, I thought it was Green Bay's night. And we'll talk more about that. But they're close. They're really, really close. There's not much about Green Bay I don't like, and here's their coach after.
Told our team, I mean, we're going to have to earn the right to potentially come back here, and it's not going to be easy, and we got to put in the work. And but I'm confident in the resiliency of our group, and that they're going to continue to fight and push each other to get better and stay connected, because I do think we have a pretty good football team.
I'm watching those two teams last night with my wife, and she's from Detroit, and I'm like, what you're watching are two really, really good football teams. Top 5 teams. Those are 2 top 5 teams in the league.
Okay, so let's talk about the Packers. Here's the reality for me watching that game. I thought the Packers could have won. You know, like kind of like what Colin was saying, once they kind of got the interception and the touchdown and whatnot. But I never felt for a second that the Packers were in control. Not once. This was a game that I thought that the Packers should have won. But the Lions came out the gate. They were ready to play the Lions. I mean, Jordan Love had like 50 yards in the first half. He couldn't get comfortable. I mean, he was being harassed just like seemingly like every single time he called hike. I mean, like it was just like from the jump. I mean, they put up 7 points in the first half. If they just put up 4 points in the first half, 14 points in the first half, 10 points, they probably come away and win this game. I mean, when you think about all the injuries that the Lions had on defense, to not be able to exploit that, you know, has to be frustrating if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. And it was just, you know, they were 1 for 5 on third down. That's brutal. And a couple of their scores were really because of short fields. Obviously, of course, when you were on a Lions 30 after the going for it on fourth down, a really, really terrible interception by Jared Goff. That was really just a gift to the Packers. But then you have other plays that you're just like, oh my God, the Packers are out of their mind. I mean, Jordan Love, I mean, some of the throws that he was making where you're just like, this kid throws a better ball than anyone I've ever seen. I mean, he escaped the one sack and stepped into the pocket and threw the ball. I mean, like, it was like, oh my God, I kept watching a replay of that just again and again and again, because I was just like, this is the eliteness of Jordan Love. This is why I keep saying that the Packers are en route to potentially building a dynasty. This right here. But the Packers never looked comfortable. They just didn't. And obviously that fumble was just, that's a tough fumble. That is a tough fumble. And again, it's attention to details. Knowing that the Lions go hard and that they want those opportunities to just really take care of the ball, to just really know you're about to get slugged, man. Like, it's about to be physical. Knowing your enemy, knowing your competition. And I just don't feel as though that the Packers were actually prepared for this moment on the road, this big game. Because everything was at stake here. Everything was at stake. The division, the number 1 seed, everything was there. Now it's not. Right now, winning the division is going to be essentially impossible. Again, the Packers I still think are locked in from the playoffs unless they really collapse, which I obviously do not see. But I mean, the Packers are great. But I just don't think that they were prepared and ready for the details. That's not the read that I got. I mean, you had Matt LaFleur getting in a fight, apparently, with a fan who was just, like, holding the flag or something. And again, I don't know the details of that. I don't care what the details are, honestly. I don't care what that fan said. Matt LaFleur is the leader of the Packers, a millionaire. That fan, like, who's that fan? Like I said, I don't care what he said. He could have said something about, like, the most horrific thing ever. It's like, whatever, man. You're just lucky to even step on this field for 5 seconds. Who the heck are you? And again, I don't know the details. It doesn't even matter to me at this point. But it just all signals to me of just, like, not being focused, not being locked in. And I think if the Packers were, then they win that game. They just, again, they did not appear to be ready to me. They looked a little shook. They looked like they were surprised that the Lions could still play defense even with their injuries, especially in that first half. I mean, they only had a run. They only had 66 yards from Josh Jacobs. 66 yards. I mean, Jordan Love was the one that was getting a bunch of the yards because he needed to, because there was just nowhere else to go. And again, it's not like Jordan Love played this perfect game. He missed a couple throws, but was able to get away from them. But again, he was getting so much pressure. He only had 1 sack, which I think is honestly pretty amazing. And he was 12 for 20, 206 yards, 10 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown, and a 111.7 rating. And I just would like to see Jordan Love be able to get more of those easy layup throws. Because it still continues to be kind of like big game hunting with the Packers. And we saw how that's how they started off in the second half. And we saw how that's what Jordan Love wanted to do in the first half, in that first drive, where he went back and he was about to, but then he got sacked. Like, you can see that he's always, like, loading up to just make that deep throw, which is awesome and I love. And that's what keeps the defense on edge. I mean, he throws a beautiful ball, and that aggression is great. But I would still like to see some of these more really high percentage throws. I don't think that the Packers do enough to set Jordan Love up with these consistent high percentage throws to get him in rhythm, to get him comfortable. It's kind of like Kevin Durant talking about how he doesn't start the game and just start launching up threes. He tries to get the easy buckets first to get in rhythm, then he starts shooting threes. And that's what I feel like kind of Jordan Love is. They do, like I keep saying, Jordan Love can do anything on the football field. Anything. He proved it just even in this game. Even in a game where he goes 12 for 20, 206 yards, you can see that there is nothing that guy cannot do. So the stars are the limit, not even the sky, man. But I do think it still needs to be managed ever so slightly different. And yeah, having a run game where you're only getting like 66 yards with Josh Jacobs, like I know they were behind. What was the score at half? 17-7 or whatnot. But it's still a rough spot, and it is asking a lot of Jordan Love at that aspect. But you could even see that, like, that's what's so interesting, because they were still able to put up points because of decent field position, and some of it was great defense too, because you could see the Packers, like, that offense is for real for the Lions, right? There's no disputing that. And I think the Packers defense actually did a decent job, especially situationally, stopping that 4th down, stopping, a lot of 3rd downs. I think at times they made Gibbs and Montgomery feel like, okay, this is not a walk in the park. I mean, there was a couple huge, tackles for losses that were really kind of like, no, you are not going to bully us. And those types of plays run deep. It lets everyone know, okay, we're not about to get bullied right now. We're not about to get run out of town. And so I love those aspects of the game. It just wasn't complete, right? What they did against the Dolphins, and obviously the Dolphins are a significantly weaker team, but when they played the Dolphins, on Thanksgiving. All the details were taken care of. All the details. And they were ready. They were focused. Even when things didn't go their way in the very beginning of that game, they were still focused. This did not feel like they were focused. It felt like they were playing nervous, honestly. And I've also been kind of banging this drum for a while. You know, I really think Kraft needs to be the workhorse. He needs to be that safety blanket, that security blanket for Jordan Love. You know, he only had 3 receptions and some big receptions, but it's like he's the guy. Like he's the guy that I would be working through, getting those high percentage throws. Again, this is exactly what Patrick Mahomes has done with Travis Kelce over the years, and it's what Tom Brady and Gronk have done. Develop that relationship even more. Make it a true foundational component of this offense. You work from there and the run game, and now all the other big-time plays are going to be wide open for the taking. Wide open. I think that will really change the way how the offense can attack, and will make you more resilient against these 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, 2nd and 10s. Because there was too many times earlier on. I think it was when they had to kick the 1 field goal. I forget exactly where they were, but they were in the red zone or like right outside it. And now they went like, it was like a throw and 1st down, incompletion. Throw and 2nd down, incompletion. And now it's like 3rd and long, and it's like, this is for a touchdown essentially. And then the one time when they were like, you know, inside the 10, then they get a penalty. Now they got to get pushed back, and it's just like you're hurting yourself. And then again, those throws were not high percentage throws. It's get the ball to Kraft for 5 yards, 6 yards. And I think it would really just kind of change the dynamic of the offense. And it's not like the offense needs like an overhaul. I'm not saying that either. It just would, from my viewpoint, it would just make you more resilient to some of these, to being constantly on your back foot. Because that's what it kind of feels like. The Packers were on their back foot. Even when they had the lead, it was like they're all on their back foot. And it took greatness to kind of even get the lead, rather than we're a great team. It took individual greatness rather than the greatness of the team collectively. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Green Bay Packers? Do you think that they're still a year away, as Colin is putting it? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.